Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. On Monday, a bishop was among several people reportedly stabbed at a church service in Sydney, Australia. The incident is being considered a terrorist attack by police. Video circulating online shows a clergyman being attacked during a ceremony at Christ the Good Shepherd Church in Wakeley, Sydney. Members of the public restrained a 15-year-old boy at the scene, according to New South Wales Police. Police then arrived and arrested the teenager, who was taken to a hospital under custody and received surgery for injuries sustained during the attack. Police said none of those hurt received life-threatening injuries. The incident came just 2 days after the city was rocked by a mass stabbing in a busy shopping mall. Braintree Today reported a few weeks ago that the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, had been impeached by the House of Representatives for essentially failing to do his job and putting Americans in danger for his work regarding illegal immigration. On Wednesday, the Secretary told lawmakers that even so-called sanctuary cities should work with federal immigration officials to deport criminals who are in the U.S. illegally. Mayorkas acknowledged that he considers the migrant surge across the U.S.-Mexico border to be a crisis, and he, quote, believes that when an individual poses a threat to public safety or national security, their local or state jurisdiction should cooperate with immigration and customs enforcement for the swift detention and removal of that individual, end quote. At least 24 states are home to agencies that have agreements with ICE, according to the ICE website. Around the world, coral reefs are experiencing a mass bleaching event as the climate crisis drives record-breaking ocean heat. A joint statement from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the International Coral Reef Initiative announced the mass bleaching event and warned this could become the worst bleaching period in recorded history. More than 54% of the world's coral reef areas have experienced bleaching in the last year, which has affected at least 53 countries and territories. When corals are exposed to stress from marine heat waves, they spit out the algae living within their tissue, which provides them with both their color and most of their energy. If ocean temperatures don't return to normal, bleaching can lead to mass coral death, threatening the species and food chains that rely on them with collapse. This marks the world's 4th global bleaching event. An updated policy from Walt Disney World and Disneyland is now banning guests for life who lie and misuse the programs for guests with disabilities. The two resorts announced changes to their disability access services last week to keep up with the rapidly growing number of requests. According to the DAS website, the program is intended to assist a small percentage of guests who, due to disabilities like autism or similar, are unable to wait in conventional queues for an extended period of time. However, if any of the statements a guest has made during the DAS enrollment process are found to be false, the guest will be permanently barred from entering Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Any annual passes, Magic Key passes, tickets, or other park products will also be forfeited and not refunded. The United States Postal Service is planning to raise the price of stamps for the 2nd time this year. The agency filed a notice with the Postal Regulatory Commission that it wants to increase the cost of a first-class stamp from 68 cents to 73 cents. In addition, the post office wants to raise the price of sending a postcard domestically from 53 cents to 56 cents, while the cost of sending an international postcard would rise by 10 cents to $1.65. The Postal Service said in a statement, quote, as changes in the mailing and shipping marketplace continue, these price adjustments are needed to achieve the financial stability sought by the organization's Delivering for America 10-year plan, end quote. If the price hikes are approved by the Postal Regulatory Commission, the changes will take effect in July. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
He was surprised to find out that he has elevated blood pressure, which could turn into high blood pressure. So he talked with his doctor about a healthy path to get his numbers down. He quit smoking, which makes a big difference for his overall heart health. He also cut down on salt by watching out for high sodium on food labels and added a 30-minute walk 5 days a week to his routine. These healthy steps weren't easy, but lowering his blood pressure was worth it. Learn more about his healthy path.
Welcome back. Now here's some news coming out of Braintree. Last week, the Committee on Ordinance and Rules met to vote on the proposed rezoning of the St. Thomas More Church property. The developer of the property, George Clements, and his attorney were in attendance to reiterate the plans of the 55-plus housing development and how that would fit into the space. With residents opposed to the development, Clements explained his thought process behind the project and how invested he is into it. Clarifying his intentions, here's more from the developer at last week's meeting.
Thank you for having us this evening. I just want to reiterate Mike's comments. I think it's, this has been our design development program since the inception of this. There were a lot of questions relative to our level of commitment to the 55 plus as well as the density. So I definitely understand people get nervous when they don't understand exactly what the proposal is. But as I stand here before you this evening, this is our intended development, period. We're not looking to get a zoning change, come in, do a higher density. There were some unanswered questions that we've worked through. So we're very confident that we can implement this project, and that's our intention. And I think it's also a worthwhile venture to look at perhaps preserving the church and, maybe incorporating some affordable housing in conjunction with the town. So I think we can capture a lot of goals here.
The Braintree School Committee held their meeting at the Town Hall last week to allow for public comments and to vote on the contentious school budget. The school budget was later tabled until their next meeting. For more than 4 hours, residents, teachers, students, and community members went up to the podium in front of the committee to make comments in unity with their schools and teachers. It was a split decision, with the committee voting 4-3 in favor of tabling the vote to their April 22nd meeting. This decision effectively sets a hard deadline for the committee to decide what to do, as Mayor Erin Joyce must present a budget to the Town Council on April 30th. Here's more from Mayor Joyce and Superintendent Lee on the budget.
While the town's current financial position cannot afford more than a level-funded budget, I do, as a parent and resident, support the funding level that's presented this evening as proposed by the Finance and Operations Committee and moved through this evening and discussed. My office plans to incorporate this ask as part of an override option that we are working to prepare as part of our fiscal year 2025 budget. Without an override being successful, we will not be able to afford more than a level funded budget. But we will be working, and we would be working with the 75.5 going into fiscal year 25. We plan to give the voters a chance to step up in support of our funding needs that are not allowed by our current tax level, our current level of tax collection.
With respect to funding, these are the trends over time. You can see beginning in FY14, the middle column, the school budget and the percentage change, that over the course of years, we've averaged somewhere between 3.8 and 5.5% increase annually over the previous budgets. In FY22, you can remember that's COVID again, the ramifications of COVID. We actually had a negative increase or a decrease in funding. In this past year, we did have an increase of 7.64%, but some of that was a replacement of one-time money that we had used to stay afloat in the previous year. This present year, FY24, you can see that we had initially budgeted $74,732,869, and they were all categorized in the following articles that are above. You can see the line that says curriculum instruction. That is where our teachers reside. 60 million, or almost 61 million of our budget, it falls into that category. And it is 81% of our overall budget with the MSBA. So The impact of level funding, we had come into the late fall, early winter with an ask of level services, meaning that to keep what we currently have moving into next year of $83,500,000, which represented a 10.6% increase over existing. If we explore a level funded budget, that is $75,500,000, 0%. The impact to schools has been described before, but I'm just going to review them quickly, just to refresh people's memory. When we looked at the impact it would have at Braintree High School, we talked in terms of 23 positions that could be lost, $1.643 million cut. The result would be larger class sizes across all subject areas, reductions in electives offered each year, modification of graduation requirements, an increase in studies being taken by students. In the same similar conversation, when we looked at the middle schools, a level funded budget would result in 9.9 positions being lost at South Middle School, $727,000 cut. At East Middle School, 11.3 positions lost, $832,500 cut. We were looking at program losses of 7th grade world language, academic levels, media, and team structures. At the elementary school, again, we had a meeting devoted just to this. A level funded budget could result in reducing classroom sections by 21 positions and cutting reading and math specialists by 7 positions. We looked at maintaining 1 reading specialist per elementary school with the assumption that there'd be no more than 5 elementary schools operating at that point. We talked about eliminating media in the elementary schools as an elective and to replace that elective with math support provided by a smaller number of math specialists, approximately 3.8 FTEs of full-time people.
This year, Highlands Elementary School will be continuing Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, starting on May 6th. In addition to what families contribute, the Braintree Highlands PTO is donating $3,000 towards Appreciation Week. In their post, the PTO said, quote, "Given the circumstances, we feel it's important to take this extra step towards showing our support and appreciation to Highlands teachers and staff. The majority of this will be spent on catered lunches, their top request, breakfasts, and treats throughout the week. If there are leftover funds, we hope to provide a few more catered lunches throughout the rest of the school year." End quote. If you'd like to donate or have any questions, head to @Braintree Highlands PTO on Facebook or call Amy Wheaton at 617-733-8641. The annual Braintree Beautification Day will be held the morning of April 27th, according to Mayor Joyce. Volunteers are asked to meet at 8 a.m. at Braintree Town Hall, 1 John F. Kennedy Memorial Drive. Upon arrival, those participating will get location suggestions for cleaning and items to help them on their journey, like rakes, bags, and work gloves. In case of bad weather, the rain date will be May 6th. In addition to Braintree Beautification Day, the town is finding new ways to get residents involved in beautifying the town more regularly. The mayor's office announced an initiative called Blue Bag Campaign, where residents can pick up a blue bag and collect trash anywhere in town. Residents can now help beautify the town while working with friends, while you're on a walk, or just at a neighborhood park. When the bag is full, just leave it securely tied near the curb and alert the mayor's office where you left it. Once you call, the DPW will swing by and pick it up. For more information, head to braintreema.gov. Thanks for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, a retired captain from the Quincy Fire Department and the author of the book Fighting Fire, A Proactive Approach. Do you know that electrical failures are the 3rd leading cause of home fires? Cords and plugs led in this category, while extension cords dominated this category. To avoid these fires, plug heat-generated appliances directly into an outlet. Do not use power strips or extension cords on these appliances. Power strips are designed for use with electronics only. Do not put electrical cords underneath rugs or pinch behind furniture. Do not overload outlets. Charge laptops and phones on hard surfaces only. Finally, if an electrical device is not working as designed, it is time to repair it or replace it. Be conscious of your home environment and be safe, and thank you for doing so.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's go right into more stories. The 128th Boston Marathon kicked off on Monday morning with participants making the long journey from Hopkinton, Massachusetts to the finish line on Boylston Street in Boston. In the elite men's group, Ethiopian Cisse Lema beat out Mohamed Essa. Helen Obiri of Kenya defended her title from an elite women's field that race's organizers described as historically fast. The 34-year-old crossed the finish line first for the second consecutive year. In the women's wheelchair division, Rainbow Cooper took first place and Marcel Hug clinched his 7th first-place win in the men's division. Patriot Ledger reporter Fred Hansen died on Monday, April 8th after collapsing outside of Braintree Town Hall, where he was set to cover a school committee meeting. Hansen, who was 67, worked for the Patriot Ledger for nearly 43 years. Fred spent most of his life in Braintree, living there until his death. He was known in the newsroom for his institutional knowledge of the South Shore and booming voice. Hansen loved to tell a tale, whether it was a story in the Patriot Ledger with his byline or in a weekly staff meeting with his peers. Patriot Ledger editor Jen Wagner released a statement saying, quote, "He appeared gruff and very serious a lot of the time to those who did not know him. But get him talking and you'd see so much more, from his love of history to his love of family. And he'd always ask about your family too. He had a very big heart," end quote. Parts of the Massachusetts state 911 system were down for roughly an hour last Friday morning, according to emergency responders across the state. A spokesperson from the State Department said the cause was a network issue with a state 911 department data center. This led to about 1/4 of the state's 206 public safety answering points experiencing issues with telecommunicator workstations. Police and fire departments had posted about the intermittent or sporadic outages last week, where only some calls would go through. Some first responders reported that the system was back online by 11:30 a.m. If 911 is not available in Braintree, officials say residents should call the main number for police and fire. Braintree Police main number is 781-843-1212, and the fire department is 781-843-3600. The Quincy school system has once again voted to exclude Lunar New Year from its official calendar. Last week, the Quincy School Committee voted 4-2 to approve a 2024-2025 calendar that does not grant students and staff a day off on January 25th, 2025, which marks the next Lunar New Year. As in the past, students can receive an excused absence if they choose to observe the holiday by staying home from school. During the open forum portion of the meeting, a half-dozen residents spoke in favor of including Lunar New Year as a recognized school holiday, citing Quincy's large Asian population, low school attendance rates on the holiday, and the precedents of other communities across the state and country, some of which have a smaller proportion of Asian residents than Quincy. The co-founder and CEO of the New England Free Jacks, Alex Magleby, has added a new spice to the South Shore sports scene: professional rugby at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Quincy. The reigning Major League Rugby champion Free Jacks opened their 4th season in the 12-team league in early March, and Magleby assures rookie fans unfamiliar with the sport, quote, "You don't need to know rugby to have a good time," end quote. There's a new festival theme with every Free Jacks home game, along with the next home match on April 20th against the Seattle Seawolves. There will be a mixtape, metal, and malls festival. As the event poster says, bring your mullets, makeup, and acid-wash jeans as we enjoy together the sweet buzz of an epic 80s revival. Tickets are available at freejacks.com. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more in entertainment.
That time of the year again, flu season. Getting vaccinated against the flu and COVID-19 can help keep you, your family, and your community healthy. You can even get both vaccines at the same time. Visit mass.gov/flushot to learn more.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Today in entertainment, we have 3 movie recommendations for you to watch. First, Civil War takes place in a dystopian future America where a team of military-embedded journalists race against time to reach Washington, D.C. before rebel factions descend upon the White House. The film stars Kirsten Dunst and Wagner Moura. You can watch Civil War now in theaters. Next, The First Omen follows a woman who starts to question her own faith when she uncovers a terrifying conspiracy to bring about the birth of an evil incarnate in Rome. The film stars Nell Tiger-Free and Sonia Braga. You can watch The First Omen now in theaters. Finally, Monkey Man follows a young man who unleashes a campaign of vengeance against the corrupt leaders who murdered his mother and continue to systemically victimize the poor and powerless. The film is directed by and stars Dev Patel, and you can watch Monkey Man now in theaters. That'll do it for news today. Remember, if you're a customer of Verizon, you can watch BCAM TV in high definition on channel 2128. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree today on BCAM TV. We'll see you next time.